Tonight, the Speaker of the House makes an unprecedented exit, stepping down for honoring a man who fought for the Nazis. Bowing out after a political blunder that made international headlines.
The work of this House is above any of us. Therefore, I must step down as your Speaker.
And mounting questions about how someone with Nazi ties even entered Canada in the first place.
If you had so much as typed his name into a Google search, you would have found out that he was a Nazi.
A doctor secretly investigated, then cleared for an alleged murder without his knowing.
It was obviously shock, dismay, frustration.
The shocking legal journey and the multi-million-dollar lawsuit against his own hospital. Plus, shattering the glass goalpost.
When it went in, it was just such a rush.
The field day as Manitoba kicker breaks down barriers.
Maya Turner has just made history.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina.
Good evening, everyone. Only twice in Canadian parliamentary history has a Speaker of the House been elected mid-session. Once in 1899 because the Speaker died, and again in 1984 when the Speaker resigned to become Governor General. On Tuesday, it will happen for a third time because of unprecedented circumstances. MPs will elect a new Speaker after Anthony Rota's resignation today, which comes after he honored a man who fought in a volunteer unit under Nazi command. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver on the exit and what happens now.
The House of Commons Speaker was absent from his usual parade through Parliament today, foreshadowing what was to come.
It's with a heavy heart that I rise to inform members of my resignation as Speaker of the House of Commons.
Anthony Rota's decision to step down comes days after it was revealed the 98-year-old man he invited to hear President Volodymyr Zelensky speak on Friday had served in a volunteer Nazi military unit during the Second World War. That revelation sparked worldwide condemnation and prompted every party to request his resignation.
The Speaker found out about this over the weekend. I think he probably should have resigned as soon as he learned about it. But that was his decision.
The Speaker maintains he alone chose to invite Yaroslav Hunka and that the Prime Minister's office was not aware of that decision.
This was deeply embarrassing for the House and for Canada.
But the Speaker's office says a guest list was submitted to Parliament's Protocol Office and Corporate Security. And the Conservative leader questions how Hunka's connection to the Nazis was missed.
If you had so much as typed his name into a Google search, you would have found out that he was a Nazi. And you would think that our security forces would have been able to do that.
The global embarrassment has many opposition MPs and some Jewish advocacy groups calling for a full-scale review.
I think it's also important that there be an investigation, a hearing through a parliamentary committee to really understand how this could have happened, and more importantly than how, to ensure that it doesn't happen in the future.
To help heal the wounds, some want to see an apology from the Prime Minister himself.
Ultimately, what we need to do is hear more from the Prime Minister. You'd think that the Prime Minister would apologize on behalf of Canadians, but also on behalf of the government.
Rota's resignation is effective as of Wednesday night. The longest-serving member of Parliament, Bloc MP Louis Plamondon, will then serve as interim Speaker until a secret ballot vote to elect someone new is held on Tuesday. Omar?
All right, Annie, thank you. And as Annie just mentioned, the Speaker's position is not only critical, it comes with several perks. A nearly $93,000 top-up on the base MP salary of almost $195,000, which Rota still keeps as the Member of Parliament for Nipissing-Temiskaming. But he'll have to let go of the Speaker's official residence called the Farm in Kingsmere. A pre-scheduled garden party there tonight was swiftly cancelled, with the food donated to the Ottawa mission. Our senior digital parliamentary reporter Rachel Aiello has a detailed breakdown of what happens next on our website, ctvnews.ca. There are also questions tonight about how a man with Nazi ties came to Canada in the first place, how many others like him got here after the Second World War, and what secret government records may reveal. Here's CTV's Heather Wright on that.
Formed in 1943, the 14th Waffen SS unit was made up of volunteers from what is now southeastern Poland and western Ukraine. Among its members, Yaroslav Hunka, who historians say wrote fondly of this time in his memoir. It's not clear what role Hunka played within this unit, but the SS Galician, as it is also known, is linked to multiple atrocities.
The members of this division were involved in mass murder of Polish civilians, in particular a massacre of almost 1,000 residents.
Today, Poland's education minister said on social media he has taken steps to extradite Hunka back to Poland. And several Jewish groups are calling on Ottawa to open its records and allow for more transparency on Nazi soldiers who ended up in this country.
Open up the vault. This should not be a mystery any longer.
After the Second World War ended, Canada was accused of becoming a safe haven for Nazi war criminals. The Deschênes Commission was established to look into these claims. It mentions the 14th Waffen SS unit in its report, but says mere membership was insufficient to justify prosecution. And the part of the report that includes allegations against specific individuals has never been made public.
Members of this unit had to swear personal fealty to Adolf Hitler and his genocidal goals. How is it that this person lived a long and peaceful life in Canada when so many victims of the Nazi terror ended up dead?
The Deputy Prime Minister was asked today whether Ottawa will consider releasing more information.
As a government, we're going to be very thoughtful about any further steps that need to be taken.
The Justice Minister says he has not heard directly from the Polish government in regards to extraditing Hunka and won't comment until an official request lands on his desk. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
A wedding celebration in Iraq turned into a night of utter despair when fire raced through a hall, killing at least 100 people. The toll expected to climb. At least 150 people were also injured. It happened in a mainly Christian area outside of Mosul. There are reports that fireworks may have set off the disaster. There are new developments tonight in a dark chapter in Canadian history. An investigation at a residential school in Carcross, Yukon, has found 15 potential unmarked grave sites. Researchers also used archival documents to identify 33 students who died at the school or shortly after being injured there. A doctor in Ontario is suing his own hospital for millions after he was put under a microscope over the alleged murder of a patient, an investigation he only found out about after he was cleared. CTV's medical correspondent Avis Favreau has this exclusive report.
For over 3 decades, Scott Anderson has been a critical care doctor in ICU and emergency. But now he's suing his hospital for over $6 million after finding he was never told he was the target of a patient review looking for possible murders.
I had every emotion you could possibly have. I had sadness, I had dismay, I had the sense of betrayal.
In this exclusive interview with CTV News, Dr. Anderson revealed it was all triggered by a single complaint made last year by a former nurse who thought he might have murdered an elderly patient back in 2014. The hospital quietly investigated, expanding it to a review of some 600 hospital deaths looking for cases involving Anderson. But the doctor only found out when he was cleared and blocked from getting any further information.
I've tried on more than 10 occasions to get a copy of the complaint, to get answers as to who conducted this investigation, how was it conducted, who was involved, and at no time have they been willing to meet with me or talk to me about this in any way.
We don't understand why he's been treated this way. He's a long-time, valuable employee of the hospital.
In an email, hospital officials write, "As this matter is before the courts, London Health Sciences Centre will not be commenting further." But in court documents, they do confirm there was a highly confidential investigation, denying they owed a duty to tell Dr. Anderson.
It creates this really toxic working environment for physicians, and the hospital gets used to never being challenged. And then they make these broad and arbitrary and overbroad decisions that really impact physicians' lives.
Rather than share the investigation documents, the hospital has hired a Toronto law firm to take the case to court, which could be costly for taxpayers if they are found at fault.
It's a really hard time to be in healthcare, and you need to feel like your hospital and your government has your back.
Dr. Anderson, meanwhile, continues to work at the hospital that he's suing, saying the case isn't about money, but about getting critical information about his career. Avis Favreau, CTV News, Toronto.
The sexual assault trial of former fashion mogul Peter Nygard got underway in a Toronto courtroom today, with Crown lawyers alleging Nygard used his status to lure young women to a bedroom at his headquarters. Here's CTV's John Woodward with the disturbing details.
This building served as Peter Nygard's headquarters in Toronto for his globe-spanning fashion empire. It also housed after-hours parties for the wealthy designer and had a private bedroom for Nygard himself, Crown attorneys said. Prosecutor Anna Serban told the jury within these walls there was a bedroom suite with a giant bed and jacuzzi, a bar and doors with no handles with automatic locks, keypad-operated locks, locks controlled by Peter Nygard. The women ranged in age from 16 to 28. The Crown said Nygard offered a job to two of them. He offered Rolling Stones tickets to another. All ended up in that private bedroom. In 2005, when Nygard was 63, Serban said the 16-year-old was disoriented after a drink and felt no control as she was being assaulted in the bedroom. On the way out, a woman gives her some pills, Serban said. The woman directs her to take all the pills. The pills are Plan B, emergency contraceptives. Nygard is now 82. He entered a courtroom in a wheelchair, a Toronto special constable helping him into his seat. He has pleaded not guilty to 5 counts of sexual assault and 1 count of unlawful confinement. His lawyer, Brian Greenspan, questioned another witness about architectural details in the bedroom.
Primary evidence is going to come from the complainants and the alleged victims themselves. They're going to testify and they're going to paint a narrative that in the Crown's eyes shows that he was an individual who committed multiple sexual assaults against multiple victims.
A former contractor for Nygard told the court about how that digital locking system worked, and Crown prosecutors also said they expect the women themselves to testify about what happened in that room. John Woodward, CTV News, Toronto.
An RCMP officer who lost his life in the line of duty was honored today in British Columbia. Police and emergency responders escorted the body of Constable Rick O'Brien today as members of the public viewed the lengthy procession from overpasses along the route. The 51-year-old was shot and killed on Friday while executing a search warrant. More evidence tonight of Canada's deepening affordability crisis and the toll it's taken. A staggering 7 million Canadians are worried about where their next meal will come from. And a new report gives Canada a failing grade when it comes to dealing with poverty. CTV's Vanessa Lee on the struggle to survive.
This is the unsettling reality at many food banks across the country. Empty shelves.
This year it's devastatingly low. It's the lowest we've ever seen in history.
More and more families and seniors are relying on the staples here. But the community they depend on for non-perishable foods is also feeling stretched.
People are being very aware of what they're spending their money on and how they're donating. So when we used to get peanut butter or tuna, we're now getting pasta and Kraft dinner. So we're not able to fill our shelves.
And it's not known when these shelves will be restocked. This is where families can pick and choose what they need. Back here are the reserves, and they're also running low. It's a snapshot of the struggles of food banks as they cope with growing demand. Advocates say government investments in affordable housing are critical to reversing the trend, pointing to a third of Canadians who spend more than 30% of their income on housing.
That puts you in a very precarious situation. You're, if you lose your job, if your car breaks down, any sort of unexpected expense leaves you in a pretty significant problem situation because there's just absolutely no flex in your budget.
Food banks say this is a make or break time for donations so they can get through the difficult winter months as they do whatever they can to make sure no one has to go without. Vanessa Lee, CTV News, Pointe Claire, Quebec.
Coming up.
We believe these are unlawful tactics.
U.S. regulators deliver Amazon a major lawsuit.
It's up, and it is good, no doubt about it.
And a university student kicks her way into history. U.S. President Biden made history today, joining striking auto workers on the picket lines in Michigan and backing their calls for a 40% pay raise.
Made a lot of sacrifices, gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well, too.
The stop, a first for a sitting president, comes as Biden faces low approval ratings for his handling of the economy. And Biden rival, former President Trump, received a legal blow in New York today. A judge determined Trump committed fraud, lying for years about his net worth and inflating the value of his properties. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission is suing one of the world's most influential companies. Amazon is being accused of monopolizing the business to squeeze out the competition. Here's CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Joy Malvin.
How did my soccer team do yesterday?
Alexa can tell you the score.
OL Reign won 1-0.
And Amazon delivers packages right to your door. But after a 4-year investigation, the one-stop shopping giant is being sued by the Federal Trade Commission and 17 states for abusing its power.
Our complaint details how Amazon is now exploiting that monopoly power in ways that harm customers, both the sellers, the tens of millions of American families that use Amazon to do their shopping.
The complaint alleges Amazon used illegal tactics to punish sellers who offer discounts, pressuring them to use Amazon's delivery network, stifling competition, and favoring its own Amazon brand over others.
We believe there are facts that show Amazon is violating the antitrust laws.
Amazon denies doing anything wrong. In a statement, the online giant shot back, saying if the FTC gets its way, the result would be fewer products to choose from, higher prices, slower deliveries for consumers, and reduced options for small businesses. It's not Amazon's only lawsuit, accused recently of duping millions of its customers into paying for its Prime program but making it difficult to cancel. The timing for one of America's biggest companies, say experts, couldn't be worse.
The federal government smells blood in the water. They're sending a message not only to Amazon, but to other big tech companies. The way you have done business for the past number of decades needs to end, and it needs to end soon.
The FTC says it doesn't want to break up the trillion-dollar company, just make the retailer deliver on more affordable choices for customers. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
And coming up,
wafting end zone, there it is, a touchdown to Kelce.
NFL star Travis Kelce's jerseys are moving swiftly, thanks to a famous fan. A 16-month cross-border investigation has ended with an extraordinary bust, disrupting an international drug ring with ties to Atlantic Canada. Bureau Chief Chris Nygard with what police uncovered.
Nova Scotia RCMP and U.S. Homeland Security seized what's being called one of the largest cocaine busts ever seen in Western New York.
So that load over there would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $16 million.
433 kilograms of cocaine, nearly $300,000 in cash and silver, electronic devices, marijuana, mushrooms, and 6 vehicles, all confiscated. In May, a 52-year-old man from Bedford, Nova Scotia was arrested during a traffic stop for transporting 40 kilograms of cocaine to dealers in Halifax.
He would have been a transporter, so he's somebody that's traveling out to central Canada, out to Ontario, picking up.
Then in August, investigators followed 37-year-old Hamilton, Ontario commercial truck driver Ahmed El Khadi while he crossed the Ambassador Bridge into Detroit.
That is one of the preferred methods for organizations to smuggle drugs across the border.
El Khadi met with 3 other truck drivers before he was arrested in Cheektowaga, New York. In September, 4 dealers in Halifax related to the investigation were also arrested. A 63-year-old woman and 3 men, all in their 30s.
Our distribution group here have been working in the Atlantic region really for the last 5 years, as far back as I can go.
This expert says Atlantic Canada's illegal drug trade has been a constant problem since the 1980s.
It's coming through the port of Halifax. It's coming through Cape Breton, stopping in Newfoundland first. It's coming through land borders.
El Khadi is charged with possession and the intent to distribute cocaine and is now in U.S. custody and could face a maximum of life in prison. The 5 others from Nova Scotia have been released and are awaiting their next court date. Krisanashkate, CTV News, Halifax.
You can say the Taylor Swift effect is proving to be a big boost for Kansas City Chiefs star Travis Kelce. Sales of his jersey shot up nearly 400%, according to online sports apparel company Fanatics, after Swift's appearance at Sunday's game. She was cheering with Kelce's mother and left the stadium with the football star at the end of the game. After the break, she switched sports and kicked her way into the record books. We leave you tonight with a monumental moment in Canadian university sports. Maya Turner became the first woman to play and score in a regular season football game. CTV's Manitoba Bureau Chief Joe Makashon on what it took to make history.
Snap is good. The hold is good. Maya Turner has just made history.
It was a kick that launched this woman into the record books. A university matchup between the Manitoba Bisons and Regina Rams, all men, and Maya Turner.
It's up, and it is good, no doubt about it. Maya Turner.
With 3 field goals, including the overtime game winner, Turner kicked out the glass ceiling. The first woman to play and score in a regular season university sports football game.
I guess when it went in, it was just such a rush and like a relief at first, and then I was just really excited.
Turner grew up in Minnesota and spent much of her life playing soccer. She learned how to kick a football just 2 years ago.
After I quit soccer, I wanted to play another sport, so I thought I would just try kicking field goals and playing football because I'd always loved the game of football.
The 21-year-old is now making headlines around the world, celebrating a first for youth sport in Canada. Turner was also celebrated in the locker room, presented the game ball by her teammates, and from the coach, a heartfelt speech about the extreme pressure she faced to score those points in this male-dominated sport.
But you don't ever experience that. You never will experience that.
The speech, shared on social media, has been viewed more than 1 million times.
Every one of them has their hills to climb. Every one of them has their challenges. They all face adversity. No one's immune. But her hills are much higher than their hills in this environment.
Part of Turner's game uniform will likely make it into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. It's probably going to be the cleats, but not yet. The Bisons have their next game on Sunday. Jill Makashon, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Definitely not the last we've heard of her. And that's a snapshot of this Tuesday. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Good night, and see you tomorrow.